Welcome to Fit for Life Radio. This is Gary with Coastal Strength and Fitness. And today's podcast, we're going to start a new format where we're going to do a quick episode, probably about 10 minutes. We're going to share one tip and then go over the week's programming at the gym. Touch on some details, just a little bit behind the thought process and what the reason we do things and what you have to look forward to or not look forward to, depending on your perspective of what's going on. So one tip I want to share this week, we had a client who recently had a baby, and I also recently had a baby, and she reached out how she's struggling to find motivation for eating well, because obviously when you have a child, a lot of responsibility changes. You kind of have to reestablish all your habits again, and it can be easy to get off track. And then even without something as new as a child to throw you off, it's easy to get off track. So I want to share maybe just one little tip that I've experienced for myself, and it's a little bit of it's kind of, I guess, like hard, a hard talk with yourself. I think deep down we know this, and ultimately it's not going to be something like, hey, like stuff we already know, right? Like meal prep on the weekends, or order some meal prep foods. Things are already ready. Something that really dawned on me ultimately was, and you realize this even when they're really young, 5, 6, 7 months old, that children watch everything you do, right? And at the end of the day, you can tell them stuff, but they're ultimately going to see what you do. So for me, in all realms, I realized, hey, like the actions I take, I always kind of think about what example do I want to set? Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be about what I say to do. It's going to be about what do I do, right? And then they'll, be more likely to latch on. So when it comes to eating, look, the great thing about, you know, eating and nutrition as an adult is it's actually the one thing we control at the very end. Like no one else puts food in our mouths. Now, don't get me wrong, our food environments can encourage us, one way or the other, right? If you walk into work every day and there's a box of donuts, you're more likely to eat donuts, right? But still, you're the one that has to put it in your mouth and chew it and swallow it. So ultimately, think about what kind of example do you want to set for your child, and that right there can be very powerful enough to then just get you to follow through with your actions, get back on track, do the things you need to do, and really just figure it out. Now, that's not to say that you're going to figure it out in the moment you have the epiphany, but hopefully it triggers you to just start taking some kind of action to then, yeah, maybe it is ordering a meal prep service, or meal prepping on the weekends, or pulling out your phone and getting an app to track your calories again, whatever push you need to just start taking those actions that maybe you did in the past or you can do. But I found, and I think, now being a father for 7 months, a good catalyst is reminding yourself, hey, what kind of example do I want to set here? Like, how would I want my kid to eat? What kind of habits do I want them to have? And realize that they're more likely to have the ones you want them to have if you also do them too. So that is the one tip, right? And whether you have kids or don't, right? Hey, what are your actual actions? What kind of what are you actually putting out there, right? So, and with a kid, it's even more powerful because, hey, yeah, they do watch and see everything we do, especially, as they get older. I'm sure I'll learn for better or for worse, right? You hear the stories about how they'll slip out a cuss word or a phrase that you wouldn't want them to say when they're at preschool or whatnot. And the reality is they got it from somewhere, right? So same thing with eating habits. They're going to see what we do, and that's going to be much more powerful than what we say to do or not to do. All right, so this week at Coastal Strength and Fitness, If you're not familiar, so we're a group training gym focused on people 40 and over. And ultimately, at its core, our goal with our programming and our clients is to help them consistently achieve the recommended exercise dosage, so to speak, for great health. Right, for having a baseline of fitness and optimizing your health, which you know that's ultimately at its core most people's goals, our main goal. And only 17% of the population even does that, right? And what it is, it's basically 150 minutes of met minutes of uh, some kind of cardio, moving, right? And that could be walking, it could be it could be biking, it could be doing strength exercises in a circuit, basically stuff that elevates your heart rate in the higher degree. Because when I say met minutes, so something that gets your heart rate higher can count for more minutes. So you can accumulate these 150 met minutes through various activities, and it doesn't actually end up having to be exactly 150 minutes. If you're doing some more intense things, you kind of get more points, so to speak, for those. And then the piece where most people miss out is they also recommend 2 days a week of resistance training, right? So this is strengthening exercises that cover your full body, all your movement patterns. And a lot of people who even go to the gym miss this. And even people who do maybe like resistance exercises, but they don't apply enough intensity for it to count as resistance training, ends up being cardio, right? And we use that in some formats, and we'll talk about that. But if you just used too light of a weight and you're kind of going in a circuit with short rest, it's great. You're moving. It counts towards your met minutes. You're getting some cardio in. Most of the time that turns into zone 2 cardio, which is we're big fans of. And it's a way to make it more entertaining, but it's not actually checking off the pure resistance training that's challenging your muscles, joints, ligaments, tendons to strengthen. To do that, you have to push close to failure using a weight that takes you close to failure. And for most people, the most ideal rep range for that's going to be between like 8 and 15 repetitions, to where it's like not too light that it takes forever and you get too tired, or not too heavy where you're putting yourself at like super risk. And we start off. So those are the main two things. We want you to get your movement. We want you to get your 2 full body strength workouts in. Boom, you're doing basically as much as you can to maximize your health with exercise. So how do we do that? Well, this week we are in week 4 of our current program, Summer Shred. And each phase, we normally have some main exercises for you to track, some like core lifts that go towards your resistance training. And we like to keep these in, and over time you'll kind of see these so that you can track over time and see if you're getting stronger on them. And that's important because strength is the foundation of everything. As we age, the ability to pick something up off the ground and not throw out our back, like that's what we're after, right? So perfect example on Wednesday this week, we'll be doing, like the previous weeks in this phase, our trap bar deadlift, right? And that's going to be in the full body strength station, 4 to 8 repetitions, right? So that's just an example. So we'll just kind of go through the week for this week, and we're starting with Monday here. Pull it up. So Monday, we have our warm up, and then we have Monday's mostly a strength day, so we'll have 3 stations for to cover full body strength. So we have two lifts that you are recurring right now that we have our clients track, and that's hip thrust, working in 5 to 10 reps. So that means you're using a weight that challenges you close to failure in between 5 and 10 repetitions. So if you have a weight and you end up being able to do more than 10, you would add some weight. If you cannot do 5, it's a little too heavy, we'd have you lighten the weight so that you end in that 5 to 10 range, and then you kind of push yourself in there over the weeks. And hip thrust works our glutes. Main gluteus maximus is the main driver there, and that's important because, if you sit a lot, which most of us do for work and when we're hanging out, watching TV. So our glutes, we don't use much unless you have a very physically demanding job. So it's important for that reason. And then also, getting some booty work in, building the glutes so you look good in your pool, beach situation, or for whatever reason. It's also the key to athletic performance. So our clients that still are competing in sports, activities, things like that, it's a must, right? So explosive glute exercise is key for all realms, whether it's to feel good, look good, move good. And then we alternate that with a band pull apart for upper back. Kind of same thing, countering that sitting posture. So working those upper back muscles. And then station 2 is a high incline bench press, 8 to 12 reps, paired with a chest supported dumbbell row. So now we're, with the hip thrust, obviously that's the big lower body movement. Now we're working an upper body push, upper body pull. So all those upper body muscles are getting hit between those two. And then the third station is an offset kettlebell squat, and that is alternated with an L-sit progression. As always, our program, everything is scalable, right? So depending on where you're at, beginner, advanced, we give you an appropriate version of an exercise. So something like an L-sit, which is to work on your core. There's tons of variations, right? So the coach there helps you set that up. And then offset kettlebell squat, very challenging. So squatting movement. So it works your quads, glutes, your adductors, which is like your inner thigh area. And it's, a core movement pattern, squatting, right, that we want to maintain as we age. So the kettlebell offset, that just gives it some variation. So you're holding a weight on one side. It's also going to challenge your core more by having that offset weight. So that station 3 is very core centric with the offset kettlebell squat and the L-sit. And then we finish with a finisher, right? So the finishers are aimed to kind of have everyone do together. It's a great energy. Typically, it would fall under the HIIT category. So we want you to have that kind of peak moment where it gets your heart rate up. So you get that benefit of maybe trying to reach a max heart rate, which has heart health benefits, get you some move minutes, and kind of finish with that feeling, of the heart pounding, which a lot of people like, and then just the camaraderie of the whole class doing it together. And on Monday, that's going to be a split squat jump and a plank with shoulder tap. So that's going to be 30 seconds on, 15 seconds rest for 3 rounds. And again, that's just working to drive that heart rate up at the end of class. And then the playlist is current hits number 3. You can also link. We have all our playlists are shared on Spotify. So if you go to the blog, you'll see we post these daily workouts now, and we'll have a link to the playlist. So then Tuesday, we'll be getting into Tuesday's a little more of a full body hybrid day. So we'll have a couple strength stations, and those will be, like we said, working in that 6 to 15 range. We're going to have a dumbbell snatch, a kettlebell farmer's walk, a dual handle pull down, and a weighted dead bug. So combination of stuff there between working locomotion. So the farmer's walk, you're having to move a weight from point A to point B, tons of real world functionality in there. And then also pull downs, working your back muscles, which is left out in a lot of group programming because there's just limited equipment. But we have like a cable stack that we have people use for pull downs. So that's going to be there's 2 strength stations in that Tuesday workout. And then there's a 16-minute EMOM. So EMOM means every minute on the minute. So you'll do exercise, rest until the top of the minute, do another exercise. The exercise will take, say, 10, 15, 20 seconds, and then you get the rest of the time in that minute to rest, right? And then cycling through. And with this, you'll be cycling through a kettlebell swing, the rower or the bike for 5 to 10 calories, burpees or squat thrust, and then jump rope. And if you hate or struggle with jump rope, we have plates, so kind of like plate hops, jump, plate hops. So you'll do 15 kettlebells, reps of that, 5 to 10 calories on the bike rower, 12 burpees, and then 70 to 90 skips of the jump rope. And now this kind of station, this EMOM for 16 minutes, ultimately it's going to end up, the goal is zone 2 cardio. So you're kind of moving the whole time, getting your heart rate elevated, and then maintaining that elevation. So zone 2 is typically going to be for most people like a heart rate of 120 to 130. Um, and again, yeah, you're trying to just keep that elevated heart rate. And some people, if you're newer, it may push you into a zone 3 or even 4, right? As you get in better shape, you're able to do more work and keep your heart rate down, which is a sign of improved fitness, right? And then ultimately, yeah, you could do this like sit on the bike and ride, at the same pace, getting your heart rate, say, at 130 and maintaining it. But most people get bored with that. So, doing it with this like 4 different exercises in a circuit EMOM fashion is just a way to provide variety and entertainment while you're getting in that zone 2, towards your 150 met move minutes. All right. And then Wednesday, full body strength. So strength dominant day in this program, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it's gonna be similar to Monday. Working exercises, anywhere in that 4. We'll go a little lower for the trap bar deadlift, like we talked about, that main lower body strength exercise, and then most stuff in between, that 5-6 reps to 15 rep range. We're gonna be doing the trap bar deadlift, dumbbell bench press, tie sit for core, one arm kettlebell row, kneeling, and a plank with protraction. So again, you see we're hitting lower body, we're hitting a push, we're hitting a pull, and then we're hitting some core work in there as well. And then we finish up with a partner finisher, 5 minutes, a dumbbell Cali press alternated with a hollow hold. So again, bring everyone together. The playlist for that day, 90s pop and R&B number 4. All right. Then Thursday is always open gym. So, or excuse me, it's not open gym. It used to be. So what it is now is we still have the note in there, but it is going to be a cardio day, complete cardio circuit. So a little more high intensity interval training. So you'll be going hard for a certain amount of time, resting and repeating. So after the warm up, it's going to be a 40-20 circuit, meaning you're going to exercise for 40 seconds, rest for 20, and then you'll move on through that rotation. There's 5 exercises, and you'll do that for 4 rounds total. And it's going to be the air bike, lateral step overs, the rower, the ski erg, and the sled push. Now, if you're not familiar with Coastal, we like days like this where you're going to be pushing hard. You're going to be getting your heart rate up. We like to use exercises where they're lower impact. So, again, focusing on 40 and over, our joints and whatnot aren't the same as when we're younger. And we want to avoid a ton of like stress to where we could get hurt, things like that. So, when you're doing your cardio, you get gassed. You want your exercises to be, we like to call them kind of dummy proof. So not super technical. So you don't have to worry about that. You could mess it up bad and hurt yourself. And then also, again, low impact. So you're not pounding on your joints and stuff. And, that gives you time in the outside world. Maybe you do have hobbies like running or biking where you want to be fresh for them. So again, 40-20 circuit, 4 rounds, heavy cardio. And then we finish, since the workout's such heavy cardio, on other days you'll notice the finishers are kind of cardio based. On the cardio day, the finisher is 90-90 breathing. So a little 4-minute breathing drill to actually then work on getting back to that like baseline, rest and digest. So kind of the opposite of that fight or flight. We want to tap into that and come down from that high intensity work. And then Friday, we're going to have a full body strength. Main lift that you're tracking from week to week is the front foot elevated split squat. Then you're alternating that with a cat-cow. It's a little mobility drill. We have a standing 1-arm kettlebell press, dumbbell hammer curl, 1-leg glute bridge, straight arm pull down. So there's 3 stations with those things. Again, you'll notice there's a pushing exercise, there's a pulling exercise, there's a lower body exercise. And then we're finishing with a HIIT finisher. So cardio based, 3 rounds. You're rotating between speed squat for 30 seconds, a squat hold for 20 seconds, rest for 30 seconds. And again, whole class does that together. It's a good way to end the week, high energy, get the heart rate up. And then the playlist that day is EDM number 3. And then, as always, Saturday will be Saturday Smackdown, which is a group workout. Don't let it scare you. It's more about just being in teams, partner related, working together. It's normally a bigger class. We design the workout so that we can fit a ton of people, and for clients that are looking for that high energy, again, super cardio based the whole time, tapping into the higher heart rates. That's what it's there for. So, and it's not super competitive. Sometimes people get worried about that. We don't focus too much on that. So it's really more just doing your thing. The partner element does help kind of give you an extra burst of energy. Also take your mind off of it. Everyone's cheering each other on. So good way to end the week for the SmackDown crew. So there you have it. There's a week of programming, some specifics of this week. So if you come 3 days a week, you're getting, obviously, say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're getting the full body strength stuff. There's some cardio, high intensity finishers, which count towards your move minutes. And then really, if you get some walking outside of the gym during the week, on the weekend, you're going to be hitting the cardio minutes that you need and want. And then obviously the gym is covering as well your strength resistance training. And you have the coach there that's teaching you how to push yourself to the proper intensity, use correct form, so that you're getting the most bang for your buck out of it and not falling into the trap that a lot of people do of not pushing themselves right with resistance training, and it just turns into more cardio, which is what you want to. It's fine to do that if it's planned in addition to getting your main core resistance training in, but it is something you want to guard against. In most group training programs, basically it's all cardio. Everything kind of ends up being in that medium intensity, turns into cardio. So you want to make sure you have these two polar ends of the spectrum, right? If you're doing resistance training for the benefits of pure resistance training, then you need to be resting in between your sets, doing probably between 5 and 15 reps 90% of the time, and over time adding weight, doing more reps with that weight, and really pushing yourself. So there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We'll be doing the weekly updates, weekly podcasts in this theme, see how it goes. And again, like I said, we'll also have a little blog post. So if you are interested in the playlists, we'll have them linked in the blog post that go to the Spotify as well. So hopefully that tip helps. There's the week. We'll be back next week. We'll try to get Will on here some as well. Enjoy.